Hey everyone, it's Word back again, and today I'm bringing you a little bit of a different style of video. We've done Legends for a bit, and it's still early season, so today I'm going to be showing you two hard mode wars that I had today, and just kind of how I plan my attacks and do well. Here's just a screenshot of this past month in July. I had a 60% hit rate, and I was the #1 hitter in all of Canada. So I did really well this month and had a lot of great coaching from players like Elevate Max. We had weekly sessions with him, players like Vadik Imran. So we had a lot of great coaching. Even Carry Esports Ghost was coaching us. So a lot of great practice and coaching helped us become a really good team. And here's just a little bit into how I plan my attacks. So I'll show you a little bit what I do. First of all, I go off and screenshot the base that I like and see. And yeah, I took a screenshot of the base and let's go see what I did with it. All right, so we get into the base here, and this is the one that I liked, and I kind of tried to figure out a plan for it. So it might look a little jumbled, but I'll explain it to you. Recently, I've been using this long Royal Champion into Root Riders army that I posted my last two videos on in Legend League, but it's actually was originally a hard mode army, so that's kind of what I've been looking for on some of these bases. But also, I really like Fireball, so I was looking on this one. Usually, I look for Flame Flinger value, and with 4 ground expos all around the base here, there wasn't a good chance for a Flame Flinger, which meant Fireball is going to be pretty tough for me. So and there wasn't even like a crazy fireball value. So I kind of got rid of that plan and went into Root Riders because I have a couple of Dragon players on my team who I let do their thing. So for me, the biggest thing I look at is going behind the Spitters. On this base, the Spitters are facing straight into the core on both directions. So I'd like to enter kind of in towards behind the Spitters at kind of, this side, 6 o'clock, or this side. However, kind of funneling out this corner by the multi and the multi archer tower didn't really, get too deep of a funnel, and getting into the scatter shot would have been really tough. So maybe I could have went in towards this compartment, funneled out this top side, and gone into the scatter, but I came up with a little bit of a different plan. And what I decided to do was walk my world champion in straight from 12 o'clock because I noticed that if I snipe off the archer towers with rocket balloons, which most people don't actually do, I'd be able to get to the town hall very easily. So the pathing wouldn't ring me around like it's meant to. So that was my plan. I'd get into the town hall here with the world champion. And then since the archer towers are down, she's going to go to one of the ricochet cannons. I chose to go to the right side because when I'd start my roots, I'd rather go into the Giga Bomb for my Eternal Tome than through nothing and have the Giga Bomb, now at the back end. So that's why I wanted her to walk to the right. I tried to place her in a way that she would go that direction. So she would walk. Sorry for moving around a lot. I just, I go through this quickly because this is in my head, but I'm trying to, explain this to you guys and see where I'm looking since you can't see where I'm pointing. But so we'd walk in towards this ricochet cannon. I'd drop my Quake on the Expo ricochet cannon in Town Hall, and I'd let my world champion walk through there. And based on where she's pathing, once she got to the Expo, I'd snipe out the Wizard Tower with 4 balloons because or rocket balloons, because 4 rocket balloons would take down the Wizard Tower instantly and then move to the air defense. So I should be able to get both those down, have her walk in, take out the scatter shot, and with that deep of a funnel, I'd be able to go behind this fire spitter since I'm entering into the um, multi-archer tower compartment here. My queen would kind of funnel these junk buildings to let my Valks make sure they go in. And with these buildings cleared, my king will be able to funnel down the flank and not go in towards the mortar. So the queen should join with the army, and the king should go towards the outside. And yeah, that was the approach, getting the roots kind of through here. And I'd pop the Eternal Tome because the Fire Spitter's not facing me. There's not that much damage. I can easily get through this initial compartment with this Ice Golem. I'd kind of push through, push through, push through. And right when I hit the Giga Bomb, the Gear Tower, Crusher Mortar, all that would kind of start to be shooting me. So I'd pop the Eternal Tome. And a Skeleton Spell I noticed would be amazing here because all the multis are kind of spread out on this base. See at the right, left, and top right there. So the Skeleton Spell would stop up the Crusher Mortar, Monolith, and all those kind of defenses all around it, the Gear Tower. So that'd be a great, great value, the Minion Prince. So that's where I decided to place it. And I'm kind of facing this Spitter a little bit because it kind of shoots right towards this Poison Tower. So that's why I decided my Overgrowth spell would be going onto the Fire Spitter and kind of the Sweeper that's facing me, but mostly just the Fire Spitter. And it would help me to path. I also was thinking, depending where my army was, I might Overgrowth the Crusher Mortar because then my troops could walk around, kind of like where this green path is, continuing to wrap around the base. And with the Eternal Tome and Rage Gem, the Rage Gem would be enough to get me through all this kind of single layer of not too much damage at a time. And I'd wrap the base really nicely. And that was my plan for this one. And let's see. So here we are entering into this one. And like I said, right, Royal Champion at the top, 2 balloons. Make sure you drop your Royal Champion first so you can get the same timing down in terms of, dropping her on the 6 or on the 7 and 3 or whatever timing you're using. I did take a Town Hall shot early here, which I kind of didn't want to do, but then it let me know, okay, I'm just going to double cycle the rest. And right here, she steps, if you notice, just a little bit to the right of the Town Hall. So I knew she'd be going to the right, so that's why I dropped my Quick on the right side right there. And I waited till I went for, this 7 timing and then this 3 on the X-bow. And then I could try to get my rocket balloons. They were a little slow. It ended up not mattering because of where she pathed, but it was a little scary because I was a little bit too slow on it. Right here, I popped an invis because if I went for the poison tower, I would have taken it down. I didn't, so I didn't want to risk any health. I just can't, recalled out right there. And then, yeah, like I said, I went queen first. And I like the Diggy sometimes on the Warden with the Sneezy on the Queen, but with this army, I'm not always sure if the Queen goes in, so I just use the Frosty on her so that my King can have the Phoenix. But yeah, here goes the King on the flank so that he can now stay outside the base. The Queen should jump in. And the Royal Champion doesn't have a spear or anything to stay alive, so it's really, really important to drop her just a little bit later to make sure that, the troops in front are tanking. And here we go into the Ice Golems, and based on where my troops are right here, like I mentioned, right, when my troops are right here, they're going to get into the Crusher Mortar quickly with the Eternal Tome. It's worth using the Overgrowth not on it, but if they were kind of way outside the base and wouldn't path into it, I would have Overgrowthed it so it didn't crush me. But since I'm going to be using the Eternal Tome right here, I just popped the Eternal Tome through everything, and then I overgrowth the Fire Spirit that's facing me. The Poison Tower was a little bit troublesome for maybe pathing, but my troops did stay around it really nicely. My King's running into a little bit of trouble right here, but I did save an Invis spell from the charge. So since my Royal Champion's slowly moving in, I saw either my Royal Champion, if she got targeted, I'd be able to use it, but she still has the Spirit Fox fairly healthy right here, which is just kind of keeping her. And look at this path, right? The Root Riders never go through too much damage, so I can easily walk around this kind of flank behind the Fire Spirit. Should come back, yep, right now in chance with the Archer Queen. I'll pop her ability to kind of crush through the Scatter Shot and Queen and kind of all that damage right there. You saw me go with the Minion right there at the top side, and I went in with the Baby Dragon on the King just because my army is everywhere else, so there was no need to clean up elsewhere, and I kind of just didn't want the King to be a problem potentially, so I'd rather try and take it down. So yeah, the army kind of crushed through right here. This was a very clean attack. I was very happy with the way this one panned out. I got an archer down here on this gold storage, but a headhunter coming in for the king really just because there was no other need to use it anywhere. Pop the invis on my ward just to be safe and a wall break to hit the ricochet cannon and finish it off. But a very, very clean attack. I was very happy with the triple of this one. It went all according to plan. No bait there because as you can see, both these compartments were heavily baited. So I got to avoid the bait and still get the 3-star. Yeah, I was very happy with this one. And we had another war today, as I mentioned. This one finished 13-11, so we got a really nice win right here. And let's hop right into the next war where I found another base that I was interested in hitting and show you kind of how I planned that one. All right, so now we're into the plan for the second base. And honestly, double rage base, my team knows that I like to use fireball, so they instantly were kind of calling out for me on this one because Royal Champion charges could be easy. And I actually hit this one in Legends today where I took out the bomb tower and was able to kind of walk along kind of this wall right here by the multi-archer tower and storage and avoid some of the bait. But I didn't want to risk it in war since it barely 3-starred in Legends. And what I was thinking was I'd rather fireball the fire spitter compartment than the scatter shots just because I think the fire spitters are a little bit more kind of, tougher in my opinion. So try to make sense of all this chaos that I have drawn here. My plan was trying to set up the fireball. So I drew right here in the yellow, the queen kind of range. So I didn't want my warden, which is the green X right here, to be placed in range of the queen. So I made sure he was dropped outside of it, but not somewhere where the fireball would hit like the wizard tower up here that'd be visible or, the gear tower way down here, something like that. So my plan was to take out the bomb tower with 2 rocket balloons since the rocket balloons would I couldn't use an invis on something else as well. So it'd be just a whole nother invis. So I'd rather use 2 spells or 2 troops and save a spell. So that was my plan, was to take out that bomb tower and then set up 4 invis right here. I got 1 on those 3 defenses, 1 on these 3 defenses, 1 on the 2 mortars and builder hut. And then this one was drawn a little bit differently in case I needed to, if Teslas popped up kind of right here, there was the extra blue range. And one actually did pop up in the attack. So that's exactly why I'd planned to hit one right there. If there was one on this side, I kind of would have done something similarly where, I would have had to hit this builder hut with a different invis and I would have made it work, but I really didn't think there'd be any right here because that wouldn't mess up the pathing. And luckily enough for me, there was not. So yeah, I hit that fireball. 3 quakes took down the ricochet cannon. I think in hindsight, one thing I could have done differently was save a rocket balloon because the ricochet cannons with 2 earthquakes are just barely alive in hard mode. So I should have just used 1 rocket balloon to take them out or something, I think, in hindsight. But regardless, I just used 3 to take everything down right there. Kind of fought the queen early with a headhunter, took her out, and then went in right here with the queen. Actually, I'd planned for the queen to take out this bottom side, but I used her just to pull the warden over because I didn't want, my roots to go in way ahead when the healers are on the warden and then the roots are in front of the warden. The healers are really far apart and they don't jump onto the roots. So I need the healers to switch to the queen and then the roots. That's how you get them to path up to the roots. But my plan was to enter with the roots into this flame spinner compartment. and then use the Ice Block and Heal Spell, which is kind of used right when you use the Eternal Tome. And for me, I can power through the Gear Tower and fire Flame Spinner well, but then you're into these raged up Scatter Shot, Ricochet, all that damage. So I was going to use the Ice Block Heal, and since the Ice Block slows me down, it was a perfect time to use the Overgrowth to stop a little bit more of the rage defenses, but not let me go all the way around the base before it came back. So it'd expire right when I'm around that Expo. And then, yeah, I had an Ice Golem, tried to place it a little bit to the left of this bomb tower so it would walk in and freeze the Ricochet Cannon. Hopefully the multi-arch, but that was the plan, was at least the Ricochet Cannon, and then use the King to take out the Royal Champion and continue following the flank around the outside. And in order to bring the Rocket Loons, I had to drop the wall breaks, but on this base, my King would walk around into this compartment if he wanted, but then continuing around, I really didn't need the wall breaks, so I thought that was a good idea. And I like this plan. My plan was to have the Skelly on this Monolith for the 2 ground expos, 2 heroes and Monolith would have been amazing, but you'll see what ends up happening in the attack. And yeah, without further ado, that was my plan. I like to use Fireball, found Fireball Root Rider army, and let's see how it worked out for me. All right, so we're into this one now. And yeah, as I mentioned, you already know the plan. I kind of took a couple seconds to think about it, but yep, the Tesla popped exactly where I thought it would. So I hit my 4 invis very calmly. I've done this many times, so for me, it's not as bad, but yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hit them all perfectly, set up the warden exactly where I wanted, just outside of the range of the queen right there. Fireball landed beautifully. Look at that entire compartment, plus the walls taken down. And I noticed right here the balloon didn't take too much damage, but I was worried that if I went balloon and had Hunter, the Expo would be there. So my plan was, I think I went with a Valkyrie in front to tank for the Expo, with a Headhunter just to take out the queen kind of quickly. So I went with the balloon to pull her outside the base. And then, yeah, I remembered, oh shoot, maybe the Expo will get my Headhunter. So I went with the Valk. Kind of wasted the Valk because the Headhunter was out of range, but that's all right. And then, yeah, right here, I went in with the Ice Golem, the roots, everything, and a couple barbs to try and help my King on the storage go around the base. And yeah, right here is what I was talking about. I meant to use the skeleton spell in the back end. I got a little worried from the Ricochet Cannon and Gear Tower, but I still put it in range of the multi when I thought I didn't. So kind of panicked and used that skeleton spell. It wasn't very useful at all, but poisoned the furnace, and I wasn't really too convinced on how well this entry was working. The Ice Golem didn't even freeze what I thought it would. It only froze the Royal Champion, but my King at least is going outside. There's the Ice Block heal, which honestly did do amazing, and then there was my Overgrowth onto some of those raged up defenses. And yeah, there's really no more roots alive. I think there was 1 or 2 left. So I didn't think I was looking too good at this point. Yeah, there's 2 alive, and my Warden was getting targeted, and I was like, great. 2 Root Riders at half health, no Valkyries. Healers are almost dead. I was like, I thought this one was looking pretty dire, so I was ready to just try and save the 2-star. But since the Town Hall was Overgrowth, there wasn't a whole lot I could do. It should be coming back fairly soon, though, and I think right about now, yep, there it comes back. So for me, I was like, okay, I'll let my Royal Champion kind of take out this scatter shot, multi-arch kind of section. And then right when the multi-arch goes down, instead of letting her run up to the Wizard Tower, I pop my spear so she would stay in place, because after the Wizard Tower goes down in Builder Hut, I think she would start to target the Town Hall. So at least I would get myself that safe 2-star. Yep, you see a couple spears here going for the Town Hall. So I knew I had the 2-star in the bag, and then the next step was kind of just wrapping up the base. Obviously, the skeleton spell would have been amazing at this point to help tank for my Royal Champion, but I didn't have it, so she walks in, and I think she gets targeted and dies. She does get the Monolith down, but I think, yep, she goes on to the King. That was all that she wrote. I have a Headhunter left and a Rocket Balloon. I didn't really know what to do with it, so because the Headhunter, I feel like would have went in and died to the King right here, so now I popped it when my Queen was starting to walk in, and it did as well as I kind of could have hoped it would. I mean, you know, there was really no hope kind of being by stuff, and it got a lot of health off of the King, so it did all right. My King beat through the wall, and at this point, I knew I'd need my Queen ability. One of my teammates shouted out that Rocket Balloon that would splash onto the air defense and archer tower, so that was great work. And then, yeah, the Queen ability I probably should have popped earlier to get through the wall quicker, but you know, I popped it there, and the MVP of this attack was the Spiky Ball. Since the Spiky Ball took down an air defense, it let me get a minion down onto this elixir storage, and because I did that and then had a super barb, that's why you save them, because, you know, I wouldn't have got down the storage, no way without it. And the Queen took down the Expo just in time to save the super barbs health onto the elixir storage. So once again, we got another 3-star. This one was very close on time. So I did barely get this one, but I think my entry was a little poor. What I should have done differently was, you know, get that ice block and heal a little bit earlier when my troops were weaker, and then I would have been able to push through the rage tower a little bit smoother. But regardless, it's a 3-star, which we always like, and this war finished 13-10 once again, which 13 stars is really, really good. So I was really proud of the team today. I ended up going 2 for 2. Another guy went 2 for 2 today. So yeah, really good day overall, and I just enjoyed bringing you guys this content because this is a little bit more planning than what, you know, I would do in Legends, because I can't really show it to you and plan specifically for bases. But yeah, you know, this is something I enjoy. I do. This is professional Clash of Clans esports, and yeah, this is what I do enjoy doing. And if you guys, you know, enjoy it, leave a comment down below, just, you know, saying, hey, I enjoyed this, or asking me any questions about esports. I'd love to talk about it and love to know if you guys are interested in actually seeing this. It'll probably end up being a bit shorter of a video because there's only 2 attacks, and I did explain them, but still, it's just a bit shorter. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this as much as I did making this, kind of explaining to you my thought process and so on. But that will do it for today's video. So I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.